So I saw that you guys liked the previous video on rage moments, and of course I figured out that I had to get this one going. 10 rage moments was something, but why not go further beyond that? For this edition of Top Rage Moments, we're going to be bringing you not just the main character moments. This time, I decided to feature even side characters as well. Hey, who said that only the main characters can have intense moments of rage and emotion in anime, hey? Without further ado, here we go. Strap your seatbelts on and get ready for the ride. We begin things with a classic, Gohan's rage moment during the Cell arc. Things take a turn for the worse in Cell's battle against Gohan. Realizing that nothing seems to be working as far as awakening Gohan's latent powers, Cell decides to create smaller blue versions of himself. The Cell Juniors get the job done with ease, being more or less perfect imitations of Cell's powers. Despite Gohan's anger, it still wasn't enough though. The breaking point comes when Android 16 gets crushed by Cell after words of encouragement. Realizing that it's fine to go wild and fight to defend his loved ones, Gohan reaches his limit and creates a moment that would soon become a trademark of this arc. The death of Android 16 enrages Gohan to the point of unlocking Super Saiyan 2. To say that Gohan became very angry is a gross understatement. You can just feel the emotional outpouring watching this scene, and you can tell that he really had enough and that Cell is gonna pay. He quickly defeats Cell Juniors with his newfound power, but the battle with Cell is far from over. You'll just have to rewatch this arc for that. At number 9, we have Asuka in End of Evangelion. For much of the Evangelion series, I'd say that Asuka got the shaft. She may be one of the forerunners in one of the most long-lasting waifu wars in anime history, but her actual on-screen performance is, let's just say, it's lackluster. She does have a moment of glory in End of Evangelion after overcoming her mental hurdles and reaching a state of full synchronization with Eva 02. With that, she proceeds to do battle with MP Evas and manages to win in a commanding victory that we haven't seen out of her in episodes, at least at first. Alas, the show had to end for her, and she gets pierced by the Spear of Longinus, but even as she goes down, her rage seemingly wills her on before she gets put down for good. But don't tell me that the preceding rage moment was not something that stayed in your minds for a very, very long time. Up next, in 8th place, is Kaneki's rage moment against Nishio. Despite the impression that his gentle appearance at first glance may give, knowing the nature of Tokyo Ghoul would clue everyone in that Kaneki would have one of those moments right up his sleeve. We didn't have to wait long to see the inevitable, as Kaneki unleashes his rage onto Nishio in episode 2. Certainly not one of the scenes for the faint-hearted, as we're all gifted with some of the more egregious censoring on anime courtesy of the negative colors. Just buy the Blu-ray, they say. Nonetheless, the moment still remains a memorable one thanks to Kaneki's voice acting, the way his Kagune appears, and the overall violence that the resulting beatdown entails. With Helsing's plethora of characters who just simply ooze badass and edge, you'd expect the series' most impactful rage moment to come from someone like Alucard or Anderson. However, in my opinion, the most impactful one of them belongs to Seiras Victoria. I think that it's the flashback beforehand. That and the fact that Seiras, one of the sweetest and most pure-hearted characters in the series, was responsible for one of the most intense rage moments in the show. It kind of caught me by surprise, actually. Thanks to Pip's sacrifice in the losing fight against Zorin Blitz, Seiras gets saved, but Zorin resumes his relentless assault. After the Millennium Vampire insults Pip, Seiras decides to finally drink Pip's blood. This lets her restore herself and to unload a can of ass-kicking, ultimately taking down Zorin. You really shouldn't have insulted Pip. Gintama comes in at number 6 with Kagura's scene in the fight against Obito. Need a quick way to get your shonen main character riled up and unlock a hidden power? Harming his or her friend seems to be the surefire way to do this. In this episode, Obito quite easily handles Kagura and Shinpachi. Coming out with a brand new slasher smile and a look fitting of a horror movie monster, Kagura turns the tides on him and the battle takes a sudden turn. Kagura finally awakens to the impulse of her Yato blood. However, it all seems for naught as Obito Kabuto finally contains Kagura, or so he thought. After a jump scare, Kagura quickly resumes work and leaves even the spectators wondering if that's really the Kagura that everybody knew. It's rare for rage to consume someone like Kagura, but when it does and sets her beyond her limits, the results ain't pretty. You expected a series like Hajime no Ippo to have one of these, and here it is. Coming up at number 5 is Takamura's shining moment. Coming into the fight against the undefeated Hawk, Takamura seems to have found his perfect match. Finally, Takamura gets paired with someone just as loud and boisterous as him, and his American counterpart Hawk can sure walk the walk when it comes to settling things in the ring. In terms of intensity, Hawk has no peer, but it's Takamura finally tapping into that intensity and rage that keeps him in the game and ultimately gets him on top. Talk about beating someone at their own game. At the fight's darkest moment, it's Takamura's unstoppable rage that allows him to finally turn the tides. The blue eyes say it all. The intensity has been turned up to such an extent that it allows him to finally settle the score and put an end to the undefeated streak of Brian Hawk. The scene featuring decisive punches fueled by his complete rage is something that Hajime no Ippo fans will remember forever.
Yo, Roy.
所詮人間混乱してろ
They say never to play with fire, and Envy learns that lesson with a first-hand experience in one of the plentiful scenes that helped cement Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood as the highest-rated anime on my anime list. Sorry, interspecies reviewers fans. As if I was debating if I should choose this moment or the battle with lust, I think that this fight just gets a slight edge because of its pure raw emotion. It's in this fight against Envy where you can fully see what extent a pissed-off Mustang can do. The death glare the Colonel gives to Envy is just telling, and he proceeds to deliver an execution, battering Envy with snap after snap of his fire powers. The result? A completely charred homunculus that's utterly helpless against Mustang. Is this revenge for Maze Hughes? Who knows? Need any proof to see how badass Whitebeard is and that he's a person that you would never ever want to piss off? Akainu gets a first-hand experience of it. In the scene, Whitebeard appears behind the Admiral, his towering and shadowy presence overwhelming. Akainu certainly heard boss music, and at that point, he would have known that he was screwed. Whitebeard then proceeds to show Akainu who's the boss by delivering a devastating beatdown, absolutely wrecking him and showing everyone the difference between an Admiral and a Yonko. How a dying Whitebeard manages to do this is simply amazing. Akainu having survived the ordeal is an even more amazing feat by itself, and it had people calling bullshit. Our runner-up is Naruto Shippuden, thanks to Obito. It's no secret that Obito really loved Rin. Now, what does a man do when he sees his former friend kill the girl and is left with nothing to lose? For Obito, the answer is simple. Be completely consumed with rage, unleash it, and go down the path of villainy for good. Seeing the sight of Rin getting killed by Kakashi was enough to make Obito snap. Unable to accept any of this, the ninja trembles in anger and takes his frustrations on the hidden mist ninjas. The slaughter that follows is merely a preview of the emotional turmoil that Obito must be having at this moment. Granted, the hidden mist ninjas were obviously fodder, but you can feel the emotion with each of Obito's frustrated punches and attacks. He became a one-man army in his own right, and in that state, absolutely nothing can stop him. Attack on Titan plus rage moment? Alright, time to have an error moment capping off the list. Not really. Rage and fury aren't exactly the traits that you would associate with Levi, but Attack on Titan's No Regrets OVA showed us one of the moments of peak rage, and it came from none other than the supposed calm and stoic Levi. Seeing those dead people who meant so much to him completely set him off, and Levi quickly went to work the only way he can. Quick massacre and decimation of Titans. It's rare that you see Levi with this much emotion, but there it is. You could also tell that while he massacred the Titan, he was seemingly prolonging the bloodbath, prolonging the pain, as if trying to torture the hapless monster and making it feel every bit of his emotional scars. Looks like Levi and Eren aren't too different after all. And that just about wraps it up for this week. Did the entries get your blood boiling? Which among these rage moments is your favorite? I'd love to hear your thoughts, and you guys know what to do. If you found this list fun and interesting, I would suggest giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to ViniiTube for more similar content in the weeks to come. Trust me, we've got loads more up our sleeves.